Stories need characters. Without characters, there is no story to tell. But how do we, as writers, create characters that feel real? It starts with understanding. We must understand our characters deeply. What are their motivations? What are their fears? Think of your characters as real people. Give them a past. Give them secrets. Give them dreams. The more complex your characters are, the more engaging they will be for the reader. Remember, characters don't exist in a vacuum. They live in a world, and that world shapes them. Consider their background, their relationships, and their beliefs. All of these factors contribute to who they are. As you develop your characters, put them to the test. Challenge them. Force them to confront their weaknesses. It is in these moments of crisis that their true nature will be revealed. Conflict is the engine of a story. Without it, there is no story. Conflict can arise from many sources. It can be internal, such as a character struggling with their own demons, or it can be external, such as a character facing off against an antagonist. Often the most compelling conflicts arise from the clash of different perspectives. When two characters with opposing values come into contact, sparks fly. Think of Romeo and Juliet. Their love is forbidden because their families are sworn enemies. This conflict drives the entire play. As you craft your story, think about the different types of conflict you can use. Don't be afraid to raise the stakes. The higher the stakes, the more invested your readers will be. Remember, conflict is not something to be avoided. It is something to be embraced. It is what gives a story its power. Dialogue is one of the most important tools a writer has. It is through dialogue that we reveal character, advance the plot, and create a sense of realism. But writing good dialogue is not easy. It takes practice. One of the most common mistakes writers make is writing dialogue that is too on the nose. In other words, the characters say exactly what they are thinking and feeling. This is unrealistic. In real life, people often talk around their true feelings. They use subtext. To write dialogue that sings, you need to listen to the way people talk in real life. Pay attention to the rhythm and cadence of speech. Notice how people interrupt each other, how they hesitate, how they use body language. All of these things can be incorporated into your writing. Remember, dialogue should always serve a purpose. It should either reveal something about the characters, advance the plot, or both. If your dialogue is not doing any of these things, cut it. Section 4. Humanity and Nature. For too long, literature has focused on the human experience at the expense of the natural world, but we are not separate from nature, we are a part of it. And it is time for our stories to reflect that. Think about the ways in which humans and nature are interconnected. How does the natural world shape our lives? How do our actions impact the environment? These are important questions to explore in your writing. Don't be afraid to give nature a voice in your stories. Let the trees speak, let the animals have their say. By doing so, you can create a more holistic and truthful portrayal of the world we live in. Section 5. The Writer's Craft. Writing is a craft, and like any craft, it takes time and practice to master. There are no shortcuts, but there are things you can do to improve your writing. One of the most important things is to read widely. Read everything you can get your hands on. Pay attention to the way other writers use language, structure their stories, and develop their characters. Another important thing is to write regularly. The more you write, the better you will become at it. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try different genres, try different points of view. The more you experiment, the more you will learn about your own writing voice. Finally, don't be afraid to revise. Revision is an essential part of the writing process. It's where you polish your work and make it the best it can be. And sometimes the best way to revise is to step away from your work for a while. Go for a walk, take a nap. Let your subconscious mind do its work. You might be surprised at what you come up with when you come back to your writing with fresh eyes.